We're live.
Awesome. Okay. Sorry that I don't have a video, so it's all gonna be you. But
Okay.
let's just start.
Okay. So the first question is, what power do these women claim to have? And I was just kind of thinking about how, like, so the poem, it kind of talks about like women have this power and they have the ability to like kind of seek revenge almost in a way over men, but in the end, like they kind of give it up for love. And so it's like they have the power, but they give it up in the end. And then the other one is kind of like the chapters, the woolen stonecraft. She talks kind of about how they have this, like they could possibly have this potential. It's just we never give them a chance.
Oh, sorry, you cut out on that last part. What did you say? The chapters?
Oh yeah. So in the chapters, the Wallenstein Stonecraft, she talks about how they like could possibly have this potential if they were given the same opportunities as men. It's just whether or not we give them those opportunities or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Well, as I started reading the Rights of Women, the poem,
Mm-hmm.
the women, or what does it say? It says born, pretty much it says born to rule. Yeah, on the third line it says, oh, born to rule impartial laws despite. And then, so basically it's saying like their native empire is to rule. So it's like at the beginning I was like, oh, this is definitely a feminist poem. But then at the end it's like, but why do that? Why do that if you have someone you can love? It's like the separate rights are just lost to that. And if you actually love your husband, you won't worry about women's rights because it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking about like nowadays, and I think it's really good how women's rights have come to be because, I mean, obviously you shouldn't as they were treated before, but at the same time, like women have a different role than men. And even though they are like they have gifts and stuff, but I mean, they're not like less smart than men or whatever, but they have special gifts given to them that that indicate their role. So like they're more compassionate and stuff, and so it's not like it's better for them to be in the home, but it's good for them to be in the home. Like they can do a lot of different things. I'm not saying like don't work, be a mother, but I'm saying they have different roles. They're not the same as men.
Yeah, like they're equal, just their skill set is different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think if they work together, then that's like the greatest.
Yeah.
I think that's a little bit of what she's getting at the end is like, we have men to do that. Like, why don't you use your special gifts?
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense.
I don't know.
I like
but
that.
Then in the chapters, I thought it was interesting. I think it was in these ones that she was saying like, or I don't know if it's a boy or like, about how children are innocent. Is that what it was talking about?
Mm-hmm. It said like children are innocent.
Yeah, and so why like women should learn, they shouldn't just be children, which I thought it was so good because that even though like women should, even though they have special skills in the home, they still should learn. They shouldn't be innocent like a child. And I think that's good in women's rights. Women are allowed to like learn and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Yeah, that was a good point. I didn't even think about like the separate skill sets, reading that.
Mhm.
But no, I really like that. And it makes sense. Shall we go to the next question?
We shall.
Okay. How is beauty beneficial or a hindrance to women in these writings?
Um,
Um,
you can go.
you go for it. I'm still putting my thoughts together.
Okay. Well, I think, well, in the rights of women, it doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't really talk a lot about beauty. It talks
Mm-hmm.
more about like what's inside and what they can do.
Yeah.
So I think she's like, she doesn't really base everything on looks and beauty and whatnot. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
She really doesn't. It's more about power and then love rather than like attraction.
yeah, exactly.
I feel
And
like
then,
beauty in the rights of women, you could kind of like infer that beauty is one of the like when it says, let me find it. Oh, where did it go? It says like go forth arrayed in panoply divine, and like I had to look up that word, but it
yeah,
meant like I can't even remember what it meant, but it meant something about like great things, like you're draped in great things. And I
yeah,
think like that could be the beauty is like a lot of this, what they're saying that they can put to work is like could be seen as their beauty.
yeah, I like that. I didn't even think about that. Because I looked up that word too. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, I was like, this has to be like made up.
Yeah.
It just rhymed.
Dr. Seuss over here.
Yeah.
But I like that a lot. And maybe their beauty is more than just actually having these opportunities or rights
Uh-huh.
um, to rule. Maybe that's what she sees as beautiful.
Yeah. And then I think in the woolen stonecraft, I think like beauty is beneficial, like in kind of the society she's in, like beauty does find you like a man to rely on, and it does give you like it does essentially give you like a future kind of thing and stability. But in the end, you are seen as just like an object of pleasure rather than a human being. And and then that whole all leads into the like inferiority and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's like basically what we've been learning about
Uh-huh.
love and whatnot. But I like your point. I think it says it somewhere in here. I can't find it right now, but um, oh crap, I lost my train of thought. But about what did you say first?
What did I say first? Oh yeah, like beauty does find them like a man they can rely
Oh
on.
yeah, it's like it says somewhere in here that like yeah, you can you need to. Oh, maybe it was in what of it because I was like so confused reading this thing. But it was like saying how yeah, it's good to rely on be beautiful to rely on a man, but like you need to be more than a child, basically. More
Yeah,
so
I think that's an interesting comparison. Like, I don't know, like the society was kind of like forcing women to remain in this like that like childlike innocence.
mm-hmm.
Because she even talks about like she's like now like children they can be innocent and that's fine. But the second we're like forcing innocence upon other people just because it makes them more attractive or more obedient is when there's something like going down that shouldn't be.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. um, but trying to find the quote. I can't. It's too long for me to find the quote.
I know, it's just like, it's an abyss. Yeah.
Oh,
Any-
okay. So this is
Okay.
interesting. Sorry. I was trying to find the beauty, like you can rely on it to find a husband, but I can't find it. Anyways, but so it says that husbands, as well as their helpmates, are often only overgrown children. And so it's important, like, it was just saying how it's, like, important that educated so that you can work together. And stuff.
Oh, that's just, yeah, no, I like that. Like, it's not like misplacing one gender or the other. It's just kind of putting the two together.
Yeah.
I feel it. I like that. Next question.
Yeah.
Okay. Do women need rely on men in these writings? Oh yeah, I kind of switched the two. So, do women need to rely on men in these writings? I think, like,
Sorry, go on.
I think for the what else? Oh, Rights of Women poem. I think in that one, like on their own, they don't typically, like, they don't really need to rely on men, but when they want to find love and they want that kind of relationship, then, like, definitely they rely on men. Like, they rely on somebody else to love them. And then I think in the Wollstonecraft, in the long writing, I think
Yeah.
I think women, her point is that, like, women don't necessarily need to, like, they have the potential to not have to rely on men, but they're forced to, like, just by how they're brought up.
I'm gonna write that down. To not rely, but they're forced. Oh, because it did say how they're, like, brought up, like, the society has made them. This is so funny that you can see me because I'm, like, using my hands and everything. You can see me, but you can't.
It's really funny for me too, because, like, when you start talking, like, it'll actually switch from, like, me on the screen to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's like you really just are like this black screen switching back and forth. It's really funny.
That's so funny. Yeah, I really like that, actually. I think that women, I agree. I think women, in a sense, have to rely on men, but men also have to rely on women. It's not one on the other. It's working together, and like I said before, like each gender has their role, and they're separate. They're not the same.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Definitely. That made me think of something, but I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh yeah, kind of like what you were saying earlier. I liked how it was talking about how kind of like how men made fun of women and the things they focused on, and then she was like, well, and she basically goes like, well, it's your fault. Like, this is what, like, we're raised, and this is what we're raised to focus on, and, like, our, like, the people we look up to, like our mothers, and they focused on that, and so this is kind of like all we have to focus on. And yeah, I thought that was interesting.
I think that's so funny too. Like, because men rule society for so long, and it's like,
yeah,
they make fun of you, put them in that. Why are you making fun of them?
yeah, exactly.
It's like your fault.
Yeah, just educate us. So the next question is: are women portrayed? Wow, I can't say that word. Are women portrayed as inferior to men in these writings? I think in the Rights of Women poem, they're not really portrayed, like, they're not portrayed as inferior. Like, maybe, like, it mentions them being repressed, but not that, like, them, like, it's kind of like known that, like, they could
Yeah.
do all this stuff. And I think in the Wollstonecraft, they kind of she talks about how rather than them actually being inferior, like they're just portrayed in society as inferior, and they do have the potential to be like equal.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really have nothing else to say on that. I totally agree. I think they're portrayed as equals instead of as one in front of the other. It's not saying like women are better than men.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sometimes feminism kind of takes it to. Hold on, I have to take my mom here.
Go for it.
But I feel like feminism sometimes goes too far and starts putting down the men
Mm-hmm.
gender. I mean the opposite gender, I guess. But in this poem and the chapters, I feel like they're more saying like, yeah, women were degraded and oppressed, but they have this potential in them, and they are actually equal to you.
Yeah, and in no way are they saying like we're gonna outrun men. Well, maybe in the poem a little bit, but it's not like, yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. Like I think feminism, I think the same thing. Like it just gets out of hand, and that like women are eventually gonna replace men, and that's how it's gonna be. But yeah,
I feel like they try to be men, and I think that this poem kind of helps to put that in perspective where it's like, no, you don't have to be men. There's already men out there. You can
yeah,
like if you love your husband, then you don't have to be men.
yeah. Okay, and I feel like this question of them being of are women portrayed as inferior to men in the writing, like I think we covered a lot of it just in the other questions, just discussing the other ones, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then the next question is, does oh, it was like a long one, and so I just kind of summarized it. I'm gonna look back and read it. Okay, it says Mary Wollstonecraft points out that beauty was important to women because it helped them find a man to rely on. Does Barbauld agree with the idea that women need to rely on men? Yeah.
Wait, okay, I'm confused with the question.
Here, I can read it again. I kind of read it weird, so
Well, I
Mary
have
won't.
right here. Hold on, let me read.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
The idea that women need to rely on men. I don't think she agrees, and I don't think she disagrees. I think,
Yeah.
like, I don't think she thinks women need to rely on men, but I think she thinks that they can.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think she agrees that women rely on men, but in the sense that like kind of what you were talking about is men and women like need each other,
Yeah.
you know? And that's kind of like where the relying comes in, but it's not necessarily like a I need you to survive kind of rely.
Yeah.
That Wollstonecraft was talking about.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say.
Yeah, me neither. Okay.
Do you know how many minutes that is?
No, and I forgot to set a timer. But it should be at least should
20.
I like yeah, should I stop broadcasting?
Well, I don't know. Did you have anything else to say?
Not really. No.
Last thing is, I think, no, I think the chapters are way too long. No, I'm just kidding.
But really,
go women.
yeah, exactly. I think I want to go back and like look at the times that these were written, just because it could be at any time, to be honest.
Well, I thought it was interesting because I was reading a little bit about Barbold or whatever her name is, and her story is that she grew up in a family of all boys, and she never really spoke to women when she was growing up. She didn't have any close female friends, but basically she received her education from her mother, but she persuaded her father or her dad to teach her what he was teaching the boys. So she learned the things that boys learn and stuff. So I think it was interesting, and she like started writing poetry and whatnot. But I thought it was interesting in her poems how her poem was like, she knows all this stuff that men does, but she's not saying, well, because I know this, I should just be like the men, I should rule. She's saying like, well, you have the potential to do that, but you don't have to. And I thought that was really cool because it was kind of like for her to say that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's super cool. I like that. That's good to know. Awesome.
I think that's it. So
okay,
good job.